I am joined by Shayne Paddock, coming to us from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, a gain advisor, but also a strategic advisor for Smooth Commerce. I like that name. You spent some time in hospitality tech, and looking at your LinkedIn profile, you're a recovering developer, it looks like. Tell us about your work history.
Sure. Yeah, I've worked in tech for the last 26 years, the last 20 of them being in hotel tech. But early on, I've always worked for a lot of startups. I worked for a startup incubator just on the Quebec side here, partnered with a venture capitalist in Boulder, Colorado. We started several successful startups in the late 90s. So it was a really good time to get out of school and learn very quickly, given a lot of responsibility very fast. We kind of pioneered email marketing in the late 90s for company called MatchLogic, which was owned by Excite.com, which was one of the big search engines in the 90s, right there with Google and Alta Vista and all those kind of guys. So built out the email marketing platform, was used by people like General Motors, Procter and Gamble, big companies at the time. So like now, of course, there's many solutions for that, and it's very commoditized. But those were very early days. Went on to do other successful startups with successful exits around, usually it was around data-driven marketing. In those days, it was about building up a database of people and being able to market to them. MatchLogic had an ad network. Their biggest competitor was DoubleClick, which was an independent at the time. Now, obviously, that's all Google. So we were building those keyword search algorithms and big databases and always like big data before it was called big data. Really, we were doing things that people didn't even really know were feasible. I spent from 1997 to 2003 on those types of startups, and 2003 came along, and I was working for a data warehousing startup here in Ottawa, and one of my friend of mine that I'd worked with at MatchLogic, Isaac Weeder, asked me if I wanted to come be his database administrator. Uh, for a little company that he was calling ZDirect at the time. Uh, Kind of we talked about it for about 8 months time, and kind of became a thing. So yeah, you mentioned like a recovering developer. I kind of grew up as a software developer, mainly on the database side, so database architecture, database engineering, that sort of thing. But I always had a strong passion for business as well. Like working for the incubator, I actually took on a role of director of business development just to keep the consulting business going after the dot-com crash, where I got to meet some pretty interesting people, did some deals in California, that sort of thing. But then 2003 came on to ZDirect, was a senior developer at the time, but basically served them for 12 years as CIO, where I laid out all the database architecture, hired a team in Ottawa. So we built out a team at the time, it's about 10 people. But yeah, started with just a handful of customers and built it into a multi-million-dollar business. We sold to TravelClick in 2015. So that was a nice successful exit. And then quickly grew the team to about 40 here in Ottawa pre-pandemic. Pretty proud of that. That's actually probably, one of the things I'm most proud about. Technology will come and go, but the people and the jobs that you can hire, it was pretty satisfying for me. TravelClick acquired us really to help get into the mid market at the time. Hotelier was kind of an independent hotelier solution, and they wanted to get into the mid market. And we helped them by we had built a loyalty platform as part of our marketing automation, and we wanted to tie that into the hotelier booking engine to have basically full reward and redeem points, cashback solutions, loyalty promotions, that kind of thing, or it can really be tailored to anything you want. It was basically loyalty out of the box because at that time you had like the Marriott, the IHGs of the world that would spend millions of dollars on independent consultants to build out the loyalty platform, and we basically had for the mid market loyalty in a box. It was pretty successful, and I think part of that success helped us get acquired by Amadeus in 2017. Um, while at Amadeus, I still kept kind of building out the overall platform since so much of hospitality is integration. It
Yeah.
was kind of refreshing to want to have one solution out of the box that just worked as if it was built together, as opposed to interfacing is just about moving data, but like how could you have like one guest record in a company, one reservation record, as opposed to syncing and hope it stays in sync and all of that stuff. So yeah, I started off as a developer, kind of morphed into product development kind of by accident. I almost didn't really know product development was a discipline because when you're a startup tech guy, you're kind of we're doing it all anyways. So at a
Yeah.
larger company, I had to choose, and I really liked my passion was always kind of business, tech, working with customers, solutioning, really understanding customers and understanding what problems they were wanting to solve. and helping them succeed. My biggest successes were helping our customers succeed, and that's what I really had a lot of joy in doing.
Yeah. So why Gain? What interested you in Gain?
Yeah, so Gain was really interesting when Michael came and approached me because after I left Amadeus, I started kind of advising other startups and realizing there's definitely a market out there for um, kind of what my experience was working with startups, how to grow profit, when to grow, when to push the brakes on the global expansion, how to grow, how to hire a team for globalization, when to do certain tech things like when to build up multilingual, all sorts of things that you just kind of take for granted because you learn it slowly over a period of 20 years, and you realize like there's a lot of new entrepreneurs out there that would love to kind of pick your brain and do that and gain kind of the opportunity to keep helping those kind of startups in different ways. Like I said, I'd worked in CRM, CRS, PMS, loyalty. I also had a strong passion for machine learning and personalization in the marketplace. I was hiring data scientists over a decade ago, which was pretty early days. So I kind of understand that, and it's also pretty difficult to do in terms of the right people to hire, but to incorporate that into a framework of a business and be able to monetize that. And I realized I could help others. And it was just a good fit. And with Gain, I kind of want to just continue doing that, using my expertise to help others succeed, see them kind of execute their visions or to reach their goals. And not only that, it was an opportunity to work with just a great bunch of people like around the world. One of the things I loved about working at my time at Amadeus and travel in general, you get to work with people and meet people all over the planet. And it was great, like traveling. I think I did business in 4 different continents, and just having those global relationships was always really fun. And there's kind of Gain advisors all over, and I could continue that because I was missing kind of the social aspect of work life a little bit.
Yeah.
Enjoyed the break, but the social aspect was always nice too.
It is. It is. All right, Shane. Well, I want to thank you for joining me, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me.